Cleaning a Coach leather bag can bring a beautiful piece back to life. It can also help maintain the strength and the appearance of the leather, making it nicer to enjoy. So let's explore the needs, tools, and process to clean and restore your Coach leather bag. First, we're going to look at what cleaning and restoring generally means. So overall, cleaning and restoring in this context will mean taking an older, structurally stable bag that's dirty and cleaning it up and conditioning it to restore a look and feel closer to what it was like when new. Some bags are going to be torn or broken or otherwise severely damaged, and that would require another process more focused on a specific type of repair. For this, we have a Coach Chelsea 10-131 bag, and it's got a couple different things that I thought would be really great for this example. The first, it has a pebble texture to the grain, and that might be seen pretty commonly in bags. It also has this second type of leather for the handles. Most often this is a vegetable tan leather, which is going to be an open grain pattern. That makes it more susceptible to staining and getting soiled. It also leads to a nice patina over time. So that will make this a great example to check out two very different types of leather that you may encounter in your bag. And that way we could look at the different techniques in terms of what may be a little different for each to make sure we're taking care of that leather type properly. So along with that, our step one is to identify the type of leather that it is. And for that, we're looking for one of two things. Is it an open grain leather? Like for example, we could see here in this vegetable tan leather, it's generally going to have an open grain. It may have a coating, but the open grain means it's going to be more susceptible to staining. That's going to require a unique cleaning approach so that we don't alter the color too much. The other factor is going to be a synthetic, or if it is a coated leather, which means there is some type of a coating or pattern in the surface that will give some protection to those grains and often give us water resistance and scratch resistance in bag use day to day. So here we've got two. We have vegetable tan leather, also may be referred to as vachetta leather, depending on what type of bag you're working with. And then we have our pebbled leather, which is more of a closed grain here on the actual bag body itself. Perfect. So we're going to check out how to do each. And leather can last for decades and even centuries when properly cared for. In many cases, popular cleaners can weaken and damage those fibers internally, even if it's not noticeable at first. So things like strong solvents and vinegar, saddle soaps, lemon juice, while they work really well in the short term, if you're looking to keep that bag for a really long time, they may actually weaken the fibers if your bag is natural leather. If it is a synthetic leather, a vegan, or a plastic-based material, that's a whole different story, different cleaners. Here we're going to be focusing on natural leather and the cleaners that work for that. So next up, let's look at the tools that we need to use. The first we're going to start with is a small vacuum. You could use pretty much any vacuum, but the idea here is to remove the large particles first. This is a small battery operated one. You could use pretty much any vacuum at all. It'll work the same. Just make sure that whatever is on the end of your vacuum itself won't scratch your leather. And that way we're not damaging it while we're cleaning it. Second is going to be a horsehair brush. This is going to be good because these are generally soft bristles that are going to be able to remove surface grime from our leather without damaging the fibers. The next thing we want is a pH balanced leather cleaner. And what that means is essentially something that's going to be gentle for leather. Most cleaners have a pH. Anything with different pHs when it comes in contact, they're going to create a process called neutralization. They're going to create a neutralization process where they try to come into balance. So something with a higher pH and something with a lower pH are going to try to meet when they come together. Are going to try to meet. And when that happens, it often releases salt and water, which can actually be damaging inside the leather fibers. Most people aren't aware of this. And so you're getting some inside scoop into how to protect your leather better. So with that, when you're choosing a cleaner, make sure it is pH neutral, which is a 7, or around the pH of your particular leather, which in most cases is going to be around a 4.5 to 5. The simple thing to take away from this is that pH matters a lot. So if you're looking for a cleaner, try to find a cleaner that is pH balanced. Also related, a lot of household cleaners are really, really far away from leather. For example, baking soda, ammonia, vinegar, lemon juice, things like that, they can actually damage the leather fibers in the long term. So while they'll work in the short term, you're not going to notice any big difference. If you've got something for years or decades, it'll start to have an impact the longer that you have it. So we'll put away all the math and numbers. Just take away that a pH balanced cleaner and conditioner are going to be really key to a good cleaning job. So the next thing we want is to identify a quality cleaner. They're usually going to be gentle in their formula and have mostly natural ingredients. So when you think about it, leather is a fiber. In the cleaning process, we're looking to take things out, not put a lot of chemicals in. So in our cleaner, the more gentle it is, the more natural it is, usually the better, and they could definitely work great. So here's one that works really well, Leather Honey. They also make a wipe, so we're going to use the wipes for this example because that will be a lot easier. And if you don't have a lot of cleaning needs yourself, wipes can be super convenient and make bag cleaning a breeze. We're also going to look for a gentle conditioner. And same thing, we wanted a gentle cleaner to take things out. We want a gentle conditioner to put moisturizers in. And what those moisturizers are just as important as what they're made from. There are a lot of things out there that have synthetic conditioners like silicone and other petroleum-based products. Where possible, we want to put natural things back into the leather. So another option here is the Leather Honey conditioner, natural ingredients, and they also have wipes. So I recommend using those for the bag cleaning. You'll see how easy it is. So now we have our gentle cleaner and conditioner, pH balanced and ready to go. So a few things to keep in mind. Most cleaners will not work well on suede or nubuck unless it is a specific cleaner for suede or nubuck. So if your bag is suede or nubuck, look for a dedicated cleaner just for that. For example, here is one by Saphir. It's a very gentle cleaner, and they even have a bunch of special brushes for cleaning suede and nubuck. So this example here is going to be our pebbled leather and vegetable tan. So if you do have suede or nubuck, look for something specific for that. And a few cleaners to stay away from. These are going to include regular soap, hand soap and dish soap, vinegars, lemon juice, detergents, carpet cleaners, baking soda, and anything like that. They may be commonly referenced, and when using them, they may actually look and work great. The key is they may begin to weaken your leather fibers in the long term. So it really becomes a personal decision. If you've got a bag that you want to keep for a year or two and just want super convenience to clean with things that you've got at home, maybe try those. They're not going to do terrible things instantly. If you have a bag that you want for a long time, that's where it's worthwhile to invest in natural, gentle cleaners and conditioners, because that's going to help keep your fibers in great shape for as long as possible. So it's really not an all or nothing decision. It's very context dependent upon what you're looking to do and what you want and what works best for your particular situation. All right, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's do it. So we're going to restore this bag, and you can see it's got a lot of dirt and grime on it. It's kind of pretty rough. And even up on our handle here, we've got some threads that are kind of coming bare and loose. And so what we're going to do is just go over this and kind of bring it back to looking pretty new. And it'll be a fast process. We'll go step by step so you can see exactly what we're doing, and we'll be done before you know it. So we will prepare a clean, flat workspace, ideally a table, having all of your items nearby. And the first thing we're going to do is vacuum. Some of these battery-powered ones have a air blower and a vacuum option as well. So depending on what you've got, you may want to blow away big things first or just vacuum it up. We're going to start on the inside and just do a quick vacuum and get it ready for our next step. All right, so inside is looking pretty good. There isn't much debris or dirt or anything in there. So now we're going to focus on the outside. To do that, we'll take our horsehair brush and we'll begin to just brush away anything that's kind of large or anything in the cracks or crevices. We just want to loosen up that dirt and grime and get the big stuff out before we get even more detailed with our cleaning solution. All right, so I think we're looking pretty good. You could use this to kind of get around the hardware gently, and there we go. So next up is find a test spot that we're going to use our cleaner. Now test spots are really important because leather can vary even from the same tannery and the same bag based on that particular production of that leather. It is a natural fiber and there are natural variances. So with any cleaner or conditioner, they always say test, in a small place, and it sounds annoying, though definitely worthwhile to do because it could save you a big headache if your cleaner, for whatever reason, reacts with your leather. And what makes it tricky is there are all kinds of finishes that manufacturers apply and things like that. So there's really no one size fits all that a particular cleaner will always work. And that's why it's almost an individual case each time as to what cleaner is going to work well on your leather. Broadly speaking, most will work well, though doing that test can save a lot of headaches down the road. So we're going to do that. So we're going to open up our cleaning wipe. And again, you could use the liquid form in the bottle, or you just need a lint-free cloth, often like a cotton cloth that's soft, that won't scratch your leather. And you can put the liquid version on and do the same thing. For convenience and ease, having this wipe is great because now all of that is already combined on this wipe. So we just open that up and we're ready to go. If you see these wipes, they're really cool because on one side they have these raised little bumps. So they're going to be gentle and not scratch your leather, but while it'll also give you a nice friction surface to kind of rub that dirt and grime out. So most wipes don't have that, and it's a really special feature on these. So with that, let's test in an inconspicuous area. So maybe let's take an inside part over here, and we could see a bunch of dirt. So I'm just going to do a little wiping on that dirt, and you can see it kind of discoloring our rag a little bit, so that dirt's coming up. And we typically want to test in a spot and then let it dry. Follow the instructions on your particular cleaner, and that may take a short while or a little longer. Since I've already worked with this, I know these are going to be good, so our test spot is okay. So then we're just going to apply the cleaner, and we'll essentially do that by working it over our surface in small circles, and you could work in little areas and kind of get that going, and you could start to see dirt and grime coming up off of it. And so we could see as we're kind of wiping this on, it's removing a lot of that dirt and soiling. And so we'll kind of let that dry. Then I'll do the same thing to the other side here. And this gets a lot of dirt often because of reaching in and out of bags, and the oils from our skin touch these areas as well as anything that's coming in and out. So we'll give this a good clean. We'll kind of let that dry as it goes. And then next, we'll move to the outside of the bag. And we'll do the same thing. We're going to work in circles on different areas of it, making sure we're getting the full area clean. Work around our hardware. And just be aware too of your cleaner, like if it may react with your hardware or not. Most good quality handbag hardware is going to be plated, whether it's nickel or other types of plating. And so you shouldn't see too much of an interaction with it, though some are not going to be that, and it may. So even when you're doing maybe your test on your leather, maybe test out a piece of hardware to make sure that you're not going to react with that. And we can see here already, this panel is going to be a lot cleaner than the rest of the bag around here. So it's working, and we'll just keep doing that. And every once in a while, you want to move your rag around, or your wipe, because it's clearly going to be picking up some of that dirt that we're trying to get off of the bag. And so you don't want to rub that more into other areas of the bag. So periodically, just kind of move the surface that you're putting down and keep cleaning. All right, we're getting a lot out of there. So what I'll do now is I'm going to get a second wipe, because we've been picking up a lot of dirt, and I want to make sure that we're removing a lot, not just moving it around. So we'll get a new wipe, and then we'll continue on our sides. And the bottom. And then the back side, you can see there's a lot of dirt and grime on there. And even now you can see it's picking it up. You know, we haven't cleaned that part yet. This is looking a lot better already. You want to keep an eye too that, you know, if what you're doing isn't, you know, raising any seams up, or if you have any thread that's loose, we don't want to kind of dislodge that further. So just keep an eye as you're going that everything else is looking good as you're cleaning. And that we're just cleaning and not causing anything to come loose. All right, that's looking a little better. Now, we talked about a second type of leather, and this is this leather on top. Generally, vegetable tan leather stains easily, and so you're going to especially want a gentle cleaner that is intended for and works with that. So another reason why I chose the leather honey is because it will work well on vegetable tan leather and not stain it or discolor it. So that's why the same wipe that we're using can be used for everything. I'm going to get one more. You definitely don't need to be using as many as I am. I just want to show you clean ones in each area so you can see the impact it may have on that particular spot. So here we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to rub over it. Now with vegetable tan leather, you'll notice when it gets wet or clean or even conditioned, it will darken. So for example, here we have this part that we just wiped with a wipe, and here's the untouched piece. So that's part of the characteristic of that leather, is that it absorbs things, right? So it absorbs liquids and oils and moisture. And so when you're cleaning it, it'll get darker. And then when you're conditioning it, it'll get a little darker initially, and then should lighten as that begins to evaporate. And so fear not, it won't stay like this forever. Although some conditioners will darken leather as it's applied. And so keep that in mind. Another reason why you want to test your conditioner really well on a small piece, because some leathers will darken more than others, and you may like that or you may not. So testing it out will give you that answer before you put it on everything. And so right now we're cleaning this up. And that's looking a little better already. And then we have our Coach label here. We'll just give that the same cleanup that we've been doing everywhere else. Want it to be gentle and also get in there, and that's looking better already. So that basically covers the cleaning step. Make sure you let that dry. And once that's dry, then we want to move on to the conditioning step. And this one's fun because it adds a lot of conditioning back to your leather, kind of moisture and nourishment, gives it a nice deeper color and a little bit of a shine if we want it. So for that, we'll take our conditioning wipe, open that up. Again, same here. You could use the bottle form if you've got a cotton rag you want to apply it with instead. Either way is going to work great. Here we'll take our wipe. And the directions on this say, to clean with the cleaner and then wipe with the conditioner in a thin, even application and allow a minimum of 2 hours for absorption and preferably overnight, and then reapply if necessary. And of course, testing in a spot first. So these wipes look a little different. They don't have those ridges on them for the cleaning. This is more of an applying wipe. And so here, what we'll do is we'll just start and we'll work our way in circles over the bag. And what this is going to do is put some moisture in. Along with that, it's going to give it some more flexibility, which is important for leather because when we're using it day to day and moving with it, it needs flexibility to move with us. And so if it's got that moisture in it, it's going to be better at doing that, and less likely to crack and dry out, and more likely to perform well for a longer period of time. And same like we did with our cleaning wipe, we want to periodically, move the bottom here that we're working with so that we're applying a fresh layer to it. And you could start to see now we're getting a little bit of shine to the leather. It's looking clean, looking new. So whereas the cleaning step can sometimes remove moisture, the conditioning step, we're putting all that back in, which often is going to include a bit of a shine as well. And that's always going to look nice. So what I'll do here is we'll work on the bottom. And then the sides. And at first, it may have a little bit of a feel to it because it's still on there and not dry. So bear that in mind as well. And then what we'll do is we'll get another one to continue the process. We'll just open that up and again, pick a nice surface area and then kind of go through and work that conditioner in. And you can see that shine coming back. So this left area, it's a little shinier than our right area, and then we'll apply this. And conditioner preference may vary. You may have a style or brand that you really like. Some conditioners are going to have additional additives, such as UV protectants, waterproofers, things like that. So it really depends on what you are trying to get out of your bag from a performance standpoint, and then from a ingredient standpoint in your conditioner. I'm using one of the more gentle ones now just to show you that gentle cleaning process and to tie us into the next step. So now we've conditioned our bag and we have one part left. The top part that's vegetable tan leather. And we also want to do the inside here. Now the top part we mentioned is going to be more delicate, and so we want to have a gentle conditioner. So again, we're using the same one. That's a gentle conditioner on the top, and we want to just apply it there evenly and lightly so that it's got that conditioner. And that's going to give some nourishment and some richer color to that leather on top. It'll also give some potentially some water resistance as well, but we're really going to start to see some shine in there. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll clean or condition the internal flaps. And we're almost done. All right. So now if you look, we have a really rich color and kind of depth to these pieces up here. So that's looking amazing. And that will lighten up as it dries. So it's nice and a rich color now. It'll kind of, even out a little bit as well. So it's not always going to be this dark. Though if we look, our bag now is dirt free, dust free, and we've got a nice surface coating on there to protect it and nourish it and keep it looking good for use day to day. So at this point, let it dry. For some parts, it's going to be a few hours. For this top part, probably overnight is best. And then you're good to go. The bag is clean, restored. And what I'll typically do as well is just a quick look at our stitching and see if there's anything that's loose that may catch fray ends. For example, we have some stitching here that's out. So I'll take a pair of thread scissors and just very gently clip anything that's loose. And that way, those frays are not going to be, sticking out and kind of catching on anything or pulling on anything. That way we keep the maintenance in good shape as well. And potentially even avoid future repair needs because we kind of caught things when they were smaller. So I think there's one more here. All right, it's looking pretty good. And with that, your Coach bag is now restored, looking great, and ready for the day. If you have any questions, let us know. If you have experiences or tips to share, we'd love to hear them. And there you have it. Until next time.